Well, the clues are paying off tonight, and this episode of Only Murders in the Building goes full-fledged on who the killer may be, and some major reveals happened. Let's get into it. Yes, so before we start again, thank you for everybody who's been subscribing to the channel. 14 subscribers away from 500 here on the channel, a big goal of mine for 2024. But that's enough about that. Only Murders in the Building tonight delivered, I think, an all-time great episode. From, the jealousy bit from Martin Short and Oliver throughout, that Loretta is teaming up with a very manly man, we can say, on her TV show, and Oliver is very just not okay with that and trying to act like he's a lot more muscular, a lot stronger than he is. Two great just overall interactions with the writer of this movie and kind of him working through their case and bouncing ideas and helping progress things overall. To the beginning of the episode with Bev and the gun at Sal's, trampoline shop, and her wondering and feeling, because Sal reached out to her potentially beforehand, that there could be a problem with the movie. So a lot of just interesting questions to get into, and the whole bit in terms of review-wise, that Charles acting out what his cool killer scene was with Steve Martin was absolutely great. I loved all the comedic bits of that. I thought Selena Gomez was good throughout, and I just overall really enjoyed this episode of Only Murders in the Building. I thought the comedic timing was great from different parts. I love Detective Williams at the start, acknowledging that these guys kind of know what they're doing, but they also don't. I'm sure that gun is going to be found out to be somebody who's connected potentially to a killer. Was it actually Saz's gun? We won't know, but I think there's more to the story that meets the eye. The fact that the writer obviously hides the beard because he, I don't hide my beard, but he feels like that's, makes them look more mature and looks more natural on set. I love that overall. I just think this episode hit the nail on so many different aspects. Eva Longoria was hilarious in the one kind of bit she got tonight. And the idea of the sticky foot sheets being able to tell us who the actual killers may be, or at least hinting at somebody who could have been a killer, I just thought were very, very good. And let's just get straight into the suspect board. This was a great episode. If you're Only Murders in the Building fan, you can tell me if you think the same below, but this is definitely the best episode of the season so far, and probably the best episode even maybe of last season too. But man, the reveal that one of the brother-sisters' shoe print matches of the killer victim, and realizing maybe this was a two-person job, and that brother-sister leaving, and then us hearing a gunshot at the end. Will we actually get another murder in the building? Could it be Bev accidentally shooting somebody? I don't know, but the brother-sister ran off very quickly like she was a guilty party. Now, I have my personal opinions on my suspects. Obviously, the brother-sisters are planted at the top right now, though it feels too early to reveal them as a killer. It wouldn't surprise me if one half of the brother-sisters, particularly the half that we caught today, is one half of the murder group, and that maybe we're going to come in the next episode and she's going to be killed herself as the accomplice who basically being taken out because the person that was helping her doesn't want to be outed as well. So that's my prediction going into next week, but I think we definitely caught one of them. I don't think both brothers-sisters were in on this per se, but I do think the shoe print argument is too good, and it would be a great way to twist the season to kind of solve part of the mystery, but have it be a huge cliffhanger of okay, we got part one of this mystery, the person who one of the two people who shot. Let's figure out the second half. So the brother-sisters are definitely top of my board. Next on my board, I still don't trust this writer. We never saw his actual laughing set in the area. Los Angeles like he said he was. He's very obsessive about them, very into them. I could very much see him just being overly obsessed and wanting to create this murder to make sure this movie gets happened because it's his big break. There's definitely some motive there. Like he said, this was his big break. If something was going wrong with the movie and Saz was reporting it to people, maybe it was the writer, there could be some actual, motive there. He was very interested in the board, and even though he was giving some helpful hints, it kind of reminds me of the type of person when you're a killer, you're kind of like twiddling your hands, being like, ha, I'm so smart, I'm leading you to me eventually, potentially, but you're never going to think it's me because I'm leading you there. I think the writer is still my second suspect. Third suspect is going to be Bev. Bev is my suspect because we have the phone call per se, but I don't buy that she's like kind of, like this with, maybe with Saz. Obviously Saz left. How did Saz know about this movie but not Charles or anybody else? I don't know. It just feels as if maybe Bev was in on this too. She's not high on my list, but it wouldn't surprise me, if by chance she comes out as a part accomplished to try to get the trio to come to Hollywood and join their movie deal. It was always very clear that they were going to come to Hollywood. The killer was going to be connected to the movie because why did they, person text them with Saz's phone to come to Hollywood like Saz was there? They kind of knew what they were doing. They know that this murder of Saz is very related to the movie that at hand being made. And finally, my final suspect is the stunt double that Ben Glenroy was in. I forget what his name, but Paul Rudd back again in this episode. Hilariously funny. I could see him being part two of the, maybe the one, brother, sister was part of this, and maybe he was part of this. He was with more of the heavy lifting of everything overall. He seems to be very involved. We saw the motive, in terms of like, hey, this movie happens, he can maybe find work on his set as his, original actor he doubles for is now gone. And here he is working on set, doubling kind of for Oliver in the photo shoot. I just think that these are our four main suspects. I don't think anybody is going to be coming out of this. I don't think any of the famous actors are going to get this. I don't think that anybody who was part of the West Wing, the West End is going to be connected to these people. I think these are going to be people on set, and I do think the brother-sister is going to be shot dead at the beginning of next episode as a way to keep the murder mystery going. You got one of them, but who's the one actually making sure that their tail is safe? That's going to be my thoughts for Only Murders in the Building Episode 5. Who are your big suspects for the killer? Put them in the comments down below. The show has been living up to my expectations this season. So happy it's renewed for Season 5. And I'm kind of sad Meryl Streep isn't in this season as much as Loretta, but they're definitely at least using the character to drive Oliver's character up forward and giving him great bits throughout the way. And I love Steve Martin and Selena Gomez in anything that they're in. So that is it for this video, and I will see you next week when maybe we figure out what happened with this gunshot. Is it just a cliffhanger that is, going to be something like Bev accidentally shooting it up in the air, or will there be another death on set? Only time will tell.